Welcome to the Miracle Mind. Oh, the Miracle Mind, yes. We're starting the Miracle Mind today with, there's a part of it is the manual for teachers, and another part is listening to a master teacher, and a specific part of his talk, and taking a deeper look at this topic, ultra-personal psychology. Ultra-personal psychology. Well, you have discovered that the way that you think and the way that we're looking at it is some form of ultra psychology. We're looking at the very details deeply into our psyche, you could say, with how much we are used to using our thoughts to establish our identity. And that has been supported. Like big psychologists said, you should do that. You should identify with what you're doing and identify with what you think you are, because otherwise, what would you have? Now, the ultra-personal psychology goes in a different way. It's like, there's no such thing as that. There's no such thing as an identification by the ideas that you have. No, your identification is already taken care of. You don't have to make that yourself. So this is exactly where the ultra-personal psychology comes in. And it's not a specific branch of psychology. No, it's literally like given to us in the Course in Miracles. Like undoing of this psychological construct that you call yourself. That you call you, while it isn't even you. So yeah, that's only the introduction for today. Isn't that great? So there's a lot of new things to discover, as always. So why not start with one of the characteristics of God's teachers in the Manual for Teachers? Defenselessness. God's teachers have learned how to be simple. See, it's not complicated, it's simple. God's teachers have learned how to be simple. They have no dreams that need defense against the truth. They do not try to make themselves. No, their joy comes from their understanding who created them. And does what God created need defense? No one can become an advanced teacher of God until he fully understands that defenses are but the foolish guardians of mad illusions. The more grotesque the dream, the fiercer and the more powerful its defenses seem to be. Yet when the teacher of God finally agrees to look past the defenses, he finds nothing was there. Slowly at first he lets himself be undeceived. But he learns faster as his trust increases. It is not danger that comes when defenses are laid down. It is safety. It is peace. It is joy. And it is God. Wow. That's so great. I'll read it one more time. I love this. Defenselessness. God's teachers have learned how to be simple. Simple in the sense, don't make it complicated. It is simple. They have no dreams that need defense against the truth. So what do you need to protect? Nothing. Do you have to make yourself? No. They do not try to make themselves because they recognize it's not necessary. Their joy comes from their understanding who created them. And does what God created need defense? No, of course not. No one can become an advanced teacher of God until he fully understands that defenses are but foolish guardians of mad illusions. The more grotesque the dream, the fiercer and more powerful its defenses seem to be. Well, you see some beautiful examples when you look into your world. nothing. It's like it's amazing to see what is happening, in fact. Yet when the teacher of God finally agrees to look past them, he finds nothing was there. Slowly at first, he lets himself be undeceived, but he learns faster as his trust increases. It is not danger that comes when defenses are laid down. It is safety, it is peace, it is joy, it's God. It's like finally you can arrive home because it is simply not what you thought it was. Like there's nothing that needs defense. Nothing real needs to be defended. What is real is just there. It is what already is there. That's why I say, like, the ultra-personal psychology in all of this is then that you discover all the identification that you did and the defense of your idea about yourself have brought you in a situation that you can call completely illusory. So that's never going to bring you joy, happiness, peace, and all this. No, it's actually disturbing it continuously. So you have to let yourself be undeceived, as it is said here. Undeceived. All the illusory ideas you held about yourself, you can release, allow it to be released. And you cannot do that at once. So it's like layer for layer you see, oh yeah, here I'm doing it. I'm defending myself. I'm protecting myself. I hold on to an image of myself and really think that I have a necessity, like I'm allowed to be angry about it because it isn't fair what is happening. You have an idea about what is fair and what isn't, what should happen and what doesn't. And this makes you crazy, literally, like it drives you insane. Because what you think should happen is not going to happen. And it falls apart. Even though you try to hold it together, it falls apart. No matter how deep you are in your, say, fantasy, how deep you are in your illusions, that is still the same principle. So you think you made yourself, big deal. So you think you made all that you have gathered for yourself and thinking that you're something. And then, well, stop defending it. Stop protecting it. Just give it away and see if it still holds ground, you could say. If it still is there. Does it fall apart? It isn't yours. Is it still there? It must be part of you. Is it temporal? It certainly isn't part of you. So this is what we're dealing with today, the ultra-personal psychology. I love it. So we come back to that later. First, we're going to listen to Master Teacher, a specific part from the talk. So that's what I'm going to pull up first now.
Had to give credit to other consciousnesses for their associations and abilities. Now you can give them full credit for what they are. What have you lost? Your competitive association. A whole mind is not competitive. That's out of the course, as you know. It doesn't compete except in truth, you know. It knows its whole. My purpose is to bring you to light. I have no other function but that. You can only prove yourself, do you see? That's what I'm doing with you now. Sure. How many saviors does it take to save the world? Congratulations. Yes, you look very lovely. For those of you listening to the tape, there's illuminant energy going on here, and you can't construct perceptual associations when there is a lot of light communication. All perception or all indications of the necessity to communicate this are corrupt. You understand that? The whole idea of saviorship is corrupt, right? And when you when you transcend this in your own mind, all I want to be sure that you have with this energy is the total declaration of your specific mind to your commitment to this, okay? That's what we said on the tape this morning. If you have that, then you can utilize this light energy to the fullest of your innate capacity to be whole, which you can demonstrate at this moment and did. And that's the joy of this. So don't be afraid. Okay? Hold your console with this. You have nothing to prove. You'll be heard. The course is set now. This old world was over a long time ago. That is a statement of fact. Not just something that you can analyze in a funny-looking blue and gold book. That's a statement of fact. This old world was over a long time ago. Do not stay here and ruminate the possibility of you making it real and search yet again for something that you cannot find. Come rather to the truth that is you, and find the glory of the light that awaits you now in this transformation of your mind, okay? The children of light could not abide in darkness. Okay. Where is the darkness when the light has come? Nowhere. What was it? Nothing. It is simply gone from your mind. It is not a contrast in truth, but simply a disappearance of the necessity for the evil association. And that's what's happened to you. Happy Easter. There's some lovely places in the Course. Jesus says, you are in the passion of your own awakening. Okay. You've undergone your Bethlehem, and you've traveled the road to Jerusalem, and you've been in the upper room, and you've associated with your disciples, and you've been denied, and now you're playing the part of the Savior. That's literally what you're doing. This was always only your own passion. How passionate it becomes for you now in the certainty of that truth. How complete is that dedication of you to this wholeness. We would never leave you comfortless. There was a mistake in communication. I want you to bring this to your heart. There was a mistake made. We are aware of it, and you are aware of it. And we admit to that, like that break, but we assure you that nothing really happened. And that you can, with full confidence, return to that horrible spot where this occurred, and you'll see immediately that there's no war going on, that you are whole and perfect. So we found you. We've told you about the mistake. All right. Now you come on home. This never happened. We were there together at the beginning. We will be there together at the end. We cannot not be. We share that single mistake. That's the way of it. The Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. All of the causes that you've had for this, that you've made effects down the line, you've brought together now in time. And you're going to step out of here. You've lost your history. History was only you. You're not judging yourself on the past at all. You've lost your past. If you have no past, you have no future. You must have done the workbook of the Course in Miracles. That's what it said. You've forgiven all the grievances that you brought together to keep yourself separate and to attack reality. You've simply let them go in your own mind, and they've disappeared into the nothingness that they are, and you become whole. Your reality is not based on attacking your brother and on the grievance of your determination to wreak some sort of vengeance on him, as you previously did. You're letting go of that, and you're seeing him in the beauty and light of his truth with you, with God, in reality. As we said this morning in one of the concepts, it's an honor for us to serve you, and it's an honor for me to be chosen to tell you this. Okay? We joke a lot about no one wants to be the Savior. Okay? Somehow you think that an enlightened mind immediately... See, an enlightened mind takes on the burden or the responsibility early in the pioneering effort of chaos to bring about this re-illusionment to truth. You are with me because of your pioneer associations. You never have liked establishments. You are staff and sandal people. And you've always been that. And that's why you're here. You are time travelers. You are universal consciousnesses that go into particular thought form associations and establish communications. Much as your forefathers went out into the woods and cut down the trees. This is all a part of you. Okay? As above, so below. As you do in your mind, you will do in the truth of you. Isn't this so? Okay. You could at best be only a facsimile of truth. Okay. And in wholeness, you are that truth each moment. Okay? But you have the spirit that makes you a savior. Don't be dispirited. Be the light of the world. Be the pilgrim. Huh? Undertake the Odyssey, as Homer would say. Take the 12 tasks and perform them in the certainty that you can transcend this perceptual association. Dare to be whole. Don't be becalmed. Don't be caught with the sirens that lull you into reassociations of death. There's lots of ways to say this. Okay. It's all just in your mind. This is a lovely association of time. This episode has been carved out of time in this relationship with you in your mind to bring about this awakening. As Jesus says it so very aptly in the Course, time has been saved for you to perform this enlightenment. We're about it now, and as you hear this, and as this spreads joyously around the world, it will resound in all of the universe, because this is the universe. And as we told you in the principles this morning, your mind is working miracles beyond anything you could possibly dream of. Every time you think this has reached its zenith, it's just a vague idea of what awaits you in the eternity and power of your mind. Listen to me. You're releasing yourself from the bondage of your limited association. You are hatching out into the reality that's always been all around you. And no longer play this game of death within the shell of your own perceptual memories. You've used them all up now, and you're going to come out into this reality. You're hatching. Huh? We're harvesting you. We sowed, and we're going to reap now. Then the lost sheep are coming home. all different ways, isn't it? It's impossible that you have not done this. An idea has never left its source that you have ever had. This is all only you. Be happy with that, okay? Some of you are undergoing major healing processes now. We want you young and vital in this effort, in a whole reconfiguration of your body. We'll hold you in this body sequence and it'll serve you perfectly well. It'll be just fine for this. This one's working all right. This one's been through it, all right? As you associate with this new energy, you will feel the spirit and the vibrations of the youth and beauty that are a part of this new mind. You'll begin to reflect how you really feel about yourself fundamentally, which is really very beautiful. All right? That will begin then to extend from you, won't it? Right? Because you're not going to try to be a facsimile of someone else, but rather only what you are, which is what our teaching is. To us, you are very beautiful because you are part of this energy of love that constitutes reality. So you're going to be very whole and beautiful with this. Welcome home. The veil is open. For many of you, there is no fear in you now. You have gone through this death association and have become real. You look spectacular.
So always a bit of settling down before we continue. It's like, great. It was great to receive this as a frequency, tapping into a frequency. Lovely to experience that. So, see, you're a whole part of the process that is taking place apparently on a recording, but so if you allow yourself, you're completely part of it. You're a whole part of it. He's literally talking to you. This is literally happening in you. As that's what we call like ultra-personal psychology, or it's not only psychology, it goes further than that. But it's a deep inner process, and it's happening in you right now. And we continue with this. So it's like everything that we bring in here is a part of that, is an ingredient that you shouldn't miss, just to make sure that you can completely trust the process that is taking place within you, even though you might feel fear, you might be disrupted, you might be overwhelmed, you might be whatever the feelings are that are happening while undergoing this process. It does not matter. So it's like you're on you're on the right way, like you're doing fine. Because this was never depending on your evaluation of yourself. But now, slowly but certainly, you hand it over. It's like, all right. And that's just very new. But beautiful. So it's every moment that you allow more, to hand over more, you could say, you feel like reborn. Like, oh my God, I had no idea that I didn't have to do this any longer this way that I was so used to. I can literally put down all my defenses and experience the safety that I was always looking for but never knew how to get to. So that's the delicate process that is taking place in you. So be gentle with yourself. Take time to integrate this, what is occurring. Stay with it. Take your time to be still and listen. and put down your mind's activity. Put it down, put it aside for a moment, take your attention off of it, and allow yourself to sink deeply into the actual process or the actual happening that is taking place in you. All right, so another part of the talk, which is a little bit earlier, just after the morning in which we were talking about the miracle principles in this talk, comes this with the ultra-personal psychology. So I'm reading some of this to you. I found that an easy way to do this. So first reading it, and then standing still whenever I feel the necessity to step out of it and share something, I will certainly do that. All right, so here we go. Ultra-personal psychology. So first we start with Jesus. The new covenant of Jesus. So there's also an old covenant. It's in the Old Testament. And this is the new covenant. The new covenant of Jesus is the teaching only love. And that reciprocity or exchange or limitation is impossible. So it's not that you're not allowed to do it. No, it's impossible. There's no such thing as reciprocity. There's no such thing as exchange. There's no idea of I do something for you, so you do something for me, and then we have an agreement or something. Like, no. That's not how this works. It's teach only love. The action of giving is the only necessity. We had to have the first covenant, or the idea of self-identity, in order to pass from that to the reality of your mind. So the first covenant is an eye for an eye. And it's like, I'll defend myself. I am something. So the first covenant is the idea of self-identity. We needed that in order to pass from that to the reality of your mind. Do you see that? So this new covenant of Jesus is very simple. Not an eye for an eye, but the statement of give to your brother wholly. Not an exchange of any sort in your own mind. Not the Old Testament, the New Testament. So it's like not an eye for an eye. No, give to your brother wholly. Offer peace. To receive peace, offer peace. Offer love. To receive love. And all of this. Is the Old Testament necessary to this transformational process? Of course. Otherwise, how do you know that you have a problem? You need to know you have a conflict in your own mind in that moment of time when you came to the truth. That's what is happening to you. So I'm stopping right here. So because there's a basic idea that's being transferred here. So I haven't brought it much to the table, so to speak, the first covenant and the new covenant of Jesus. So the first covenant, an eye for an eye, you see the descriptions of that in the books of the Old Testament. An eye for an eye. It's like you are someone and you defend yourself. That was the idea. And you exchange. And there's a God that exchanges. You do right, then you get this. You do right, then you end up in heaven. This very, old way of looking at it. So in the time when Jesus came around, you could say, he brought in a new idea. Give wholly to your brother. No, it's not about, defending. It's not about raising the sword to defend. It's not about slaughtering your brother. It's not about attacking him in order to establish your own place. No, not at all. No, this is why not give wholly to your brother, and that will bring you. So like that action of giving is what is bringing you in a state of being you can call heaven. Not that you earn it that way, because there's no exchange. Not that if you do it right, God will reward you with something. No, no, no. No, there's no exchange going on. There's no deal to be made. No, this is just, the only counts, your action of giving is give wholly to your brother. Don't hold anything back. Forgive it. Literally already give it to him, even though he doesn't ask it. That doesn't mean that you have to give everyone advice or some kind. No, the action of mind is you bless your brother, like you give him everything, you could say. You don't hold anything back. You don't want to keep anything for yourself. That is what is meant here. You just give it away. Is that practical? Can be. Doesn't have to be. Like, no, of course not. It is an action of mind. It is your attitude, you could say. It is the way that you are present. You wholly give. You wholly give. So that's really great to make clear, or to have clear in your mind. So the Old Testament was necessary. Otherwise, you wouldn't know that you had a problem. It's like you have to first build a separate identity in order to know that you can let go of it, in order to know that it's hurting, so you can let go of it. I say this very simply this way, but we'll continue. Use the power of your mind in the declaration of your wholeness, and the result will be wholeness. Use the power of your mind in the declaration of your wholeness, and the result will be wholeness. If you use it in the magic of your mind, like we talked about yesterday with the unhealed healer, if you use it, if you use the power of your mind to, in fact, like use it to establish something in the three-dimensional world, you're actually performing magic, you could say. This is what a lot of you guys are doing, Master Teacher says here. The result can only be what you direct it to be. There's a lovely sentence in the Course where it says literally that the result cannot exceed the perceptual thought about it. Why? Because they are together. So what your motive is will be the realization of that. If you have an idea of, say, healing a body to make it better, the result will be that. Now, if you think that you're doing something, then you're mistaken. You're mistaken. You're literally like, doing nothing, you could say. But you get the result of your own mind. If you think well, if you give wholly to your brother, wholeness is the result. Your experience of wholeness is the result. If you hold back of any kind, if you want to, say, manipulate it into a certain form, that is what the result will be. And you will experience that as a limitation, because that is what you literally wanted. You get the result of your own mind. You get the result of your perceptual thought about it. It cannot go beyond it or so. There's no universe, say, supporting it in the sense of making it bigger or beautifuler or more beautiful or anything like that. Has nothing to do with it. That's why the moment you change your mind about yourself, the result changes totally. The moment you change your mind about yourself, the result changes totally. See, and this is our ultra psychology that we're entering into. The moment you change your mind about yourself, like, oh, wait a minute, there's nothing outside of me, I'm doing this to myself, the result changes totally. Oh, don't judge your brother in this regard, you will be wrong, because there's nobody outside of me. So this condition here, it says, is total, ultra-personal psychology. It has absolutely nothing to do with transpersonal, between persons. There is nothing transpersonal about it. There's no such thing as trance except to yourself. So it's like, no, this is you getting the result of what you are thinking. It's ultra personal. There's nothing outside of you. Literally, it's all happening in your mind. Only this way you can realize, practically, of course, only this way you can realize that your mind is whole. How else could you do it? Like, if you think there's something outside of you, then your mind could not be whole, because apparently there are opposing forces or other ideas around. Like, no, if I realize it's all happening in me, there's nothing attacking me. So then, if I let go of my defenses, I literally get the experience. Finally, it can come to me that there's nothing to be afraid of, that there literally is nothing attacking me, that I was safe all along. It had nothing to do with anything. Now this is the ultra personal part of it. Literally an embrace of an all-inclusiveness, you could say, about what you think is going on. You include yourself into everything and exclude nothing. And seeing that, yes, I'm the cause of this. So now the point where it can change has been pointed out. It's happening in me. If I change my mind about myself and about everything that I think is going on, by literally bringing it back into my withinness, you could say, recognizing that the source is within me and not anywhere else, I have nothing to be afraid of. Fear disappears. Like, this is the only way that fear can be released. Otherwise you will have to defend yourself if there's something outside of you that is not you. You know, so that makes total sense. But it's revolutionary. And it's ultra personal. See, and by accepting that wholly, what happens is that it becomes impersonal. Because there was a question that came to me. It's like, how am I supposed to look at impersonalization, like Joel Goldsmith says? Like, how am I looking at impersonalization? Well, by making it ultra personal, totally personal, all of it, and accepting that as what it is, I actually see that it's impersonal. So this makes sense if you come into the experience of it. How can your mind become whole? Like, extend it. Give wholly to your brother. You see that there is nothing outside of you. You see that there's no such thing as personalities. So that is, in that sense, that is the impersonalization of this. And not that I care about words that much, but it's like the same with the idea. You know this. I've probably said it before. It's like the idea of unconditional love. Like, unconditional love, you could say, is in fact totally conditional love. Recognizing that it's like it is an extension of you because it is what you are. It is totally conditional. It has only to do with you, you could say. In that recognition, you extend love unconditionally. You know what I'm saying? So it all points back to you. The same with this, like ultra-personal psychology. Literally, there's no interpersonal or transpersonal psychology going on. There's no exchange going on with your brother. No, it is a recognition of your wholeness. It has nothing to do with exchange. Communication is whole. It is not between two things that are communicating. No, it's recognizing the wholeness of it. And this is so it's not taught very much this way, but it's great because it's literally the door to it. You will have to realize this. So whenever you attempt to come to some kind of exchange, you know that it's not whole. When you take all of that in and embrace it totally, say accepting that as all yours, now you can say communicate with every aspect of it. Because you apparently are all of it. It does make sense. It's reasonable, isn't it? That's why the moment you change your mind about yourself, the results changes totally. Don't judge your brother in this regard. You will be wrong. You can't judge your brother because who is your brother? Your brother is yourself. This condition is total, ultra-personal psychology. It has absolutely nothing to do with transpersonal. There is nothing transpersonal about it. There is no such thing as trance except to yourself. The idea that you have to undergo this alone may cause a little fear and pain at first, but remember, you've always been alone and you know it. This is what has caused all of your loneliness, all of your fear, all of that that has been your inability to communicate. It's like, that is exactly the thing. Yes, I recognize that. All of this has been your inability to communicate. Why is that? Because there is nothing outside of you to communicate with. I'm telling you that communication is impossible because you have designed your mind not to communicate, and you are basing your reality on your determination not to communicate. So why do you think it's not working? Well, that's a different vision, isn't it? It's like you thought you were communicating with your brothers. Well, the device you're using is not working. Can you tell? Yes. Okay, so are you willing to take and say to receive another vision? Yes. Communication is impossible. Here's the vision. Communication is impossible in the way that you see yourself and that you have been communicating because you have designed your mind not to communicate. Why is that? Because you start to see things outside your mind. You think there's someone else and are basing your reality on your determination not to communicate. I am telling you that communication is impossible because you have designed your mind to not communicate and are basing your whole reality not to communicate. How can you then do it? That's what perception is. Objective reality, different thoughts, something outside your mind, a different thing thinking differently than I am. That's crazy. That is not so. That consciousness is only what I think it is. Some of you say, I'm going to go away and I'm not going to do this. So, like you want to walk away from this idea. You want to walk away from your transformational journey just because you don't like it any longer. It's like, well, that's not the way I thought it was. I'm disappointed now. I'm going to go away. And you must teach that. That's funny to me. Where are you going to go? You are not real. You run away from this, but you are not real. So where are you going to walk to? You forgot that I just told you that you are not real to me. You're insisting that I give you reality, so you identify me. You're not real to me. You can't go away. You have nowhere to go. And you are the unknowing coming to knowing. That's the process that is taking place. So it's like, what the hell is he talking about? What the hell is he talking about? It's like, am I not real? No, see, here's the ultra-personal psychology, you could say, is this too, is that you think that you are you, and you think that I am me, right? You think that I'm somewhere else than you are. We have different locations. You think that I can have certain thoughts and you can have different thoughts, and that's okay. And on and on. It's like all of this is based on the fact that you think that you made yourself in the way that you see yourself, and that's you. Like, you isolated yourself from communication. You create a little bubble and think that you're communicating with some aspects in this bubble. Some you like, some you don't like, some you hate, some you despise, some you think they abuse, some you attack, you be angry at them. You do all kinds of things within this bubble. It's like, and you think that that identity is something. And you want to learn to communicate because you get very unhappy staying in your bubble. Huh? You don't like it. You feel enclosed. You feel as if you're in a prison and you don't know how to escape. I know that you feel like that. It's like, I know that. So now here's an offering of, say, the possibility for communication. But the only thing that cannot be part of it is this false belief you have about yourself. For the rest of communication is working like perfectly. The only thing that cannot enter this communication is what you call you. Who you think you are is the only thing that's in the way. So that's why Master Teacher says, well, to me, you're not real. Like communication, I don't need you for the ideas that you have about yourself in this communication. Because what will this thing do? What it always does. What does a separate identity do? It wants to be confirmed, otherwise it does not exist. It wants to be confirmed that it is, what it thinks it is. And you see how far that goes, like how many conflicts you can have about that. You want to be confirmed. People are screaming for attention, to be confirmed by whoever, like the greatest icons you see around, the greatest idols you see around, screaming for attention to be the thing that they are not. Like that goes a long way. We're very much used to it and very much tempted by it to confirm it in others. So what are you doing when you confirm it in someone else? You're confirming it in yourself. I really like that singer. She is the best. She's so beautiful. Everything she does is magic. It's like unbelievable. You know, this idea you can have about an idol. I'm so in love with her. Why do I do that? To confirm my own misidentity. Does it have any value? No. Do I need to do that in order to communicate? No. It's in the way. So here we are. That's why this is coming back to the manual for teachers. Like, a teacher of God is simple. Like, I don't need any of that. I don't even need a description of being a teacher of God as an identity. No, not at all. I could care less. I don't care. So what happens is, in the recognition of who I truly am, I don't need any confirmation. I am established in the kingdom. That is my reality. The rest is not. So I can laugh about it, thinking that I'm something I'm not right now. It's like, that's funny. It's funny that I'm looking for confirmation to be confirmed as something I'm not. Oh, leave it. No, I don't need likes. I don't need what you say is like, I don't want to take any credit for anything that I'm doing. Absolutely not. No interest in it. I don't need a statue. I don't need followers. I don't need anything. Like, if it isn't given, if it isn't that, it's like, in fact, are you interested in this ultra-personal psychology? To receive that for yourself, great. Does it depend on me? No, please not. You know, it's like there's no it works 180 degrees upside down, you could say. It's like, this is not about personalities. This is not about you telling this in such a great way. This is not, no, this has nothing to do with it. It's like, no, it's the undeceiving that is taking place. Undeceiving, undoing, unpersonalization, impersonalization. Like, it has nothing to do with a misidentification. It has nothing to do with what I think about myself or my brother. This is how I forgive. So it's like, yeah, there's no other thing going on. There's no motive to do the things that I'm doing. No, I just share it with you in this moment. If it stops tomorrow, it stops tomorrow. Like, there's no achievement to be made. It has no purpose other than the recognition of the nothingness of this place and the recognition that you're home in heaven. And that we can communicate, but not as a you and a me. So getting rid of this you and me is basically what needs to occur. And what has occurred, because it has no reality. So starting to enjoy more and more the fact that none of this is so, that this world that I created isn't so either, that this personality that I call me and myself isn't so either, allows us to be completely ourselves, you could say. And to communicate and to recognize as one and communicate as one. So as long as there's a communication between you and me, forget it. So it's like, this is your opportunity to join in the oneness that we recognize ourselves to be very personal. So it's lonely. It's said that the Master Teacher shared this too. It's like, it's a lonely process. Yeah, there's only you in this whole process. There's literally nothing outside of you. You can be as much upset with others as you want, but in the end, it is just you coming to know yourself, including everything else in, allowing yourself to change your mind about yourself, seeing that there's only one of us. You know, so that is the process that is taking place. And you go through hell, you go through loneliness, you go through all kinds of things to end up here. But it doesn't change what the actual occurrence is. Nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God. Simple as that. It's very simple. So, yeah, you know it. I know it. In our recognition of knowing that together we communicate as one. That's all. So, thank you everyone. Thank you so much for being part of this, recognizing yourself to be one with what is actually being shared. That there's nothing opposing you. And yeah, thank you. Thank you for everything. Have a wonderful day or night, and see you before you know it.